Here we have a 1996 Jeep Cherokee Sport, and the power steering pump has been leaking, and finally it just got really bad. And I'm going to remove the old one. Here you can see the leak. Pretty nasty, huh? I'm going to replace this old one with a new one. So I thought I'd do a video on it. Right here is the bolt that connects to the idler pulley. It's a little hard to see. The idler pulley right here. And that'll loosen up this belt so we can remove the belt. Remove this belt here. Now in the middle of the pulley is a bolt that goes right through, and you can see my wrench is on there, and you have to loosen that bolt as well in order for the pulley to slide away. So I got a 15 millimeter socket, and I'm just going to screw this until the belt is loose. So now I've loosened the screw and the bolt, and I can now lift the belt off. Kind of want to tuck it away so that, it doesn't unravel altogether. I tie wrap the belt here to the hose because, it's a pain in the neck to retrace that belt all around when you don't have to. So just a simple tie wrap can save you some trouble later. Tie wrap's one of the greatest inventions ever. Okay, so here you can see the belt is off and the wheel spins freely. This is the connection, the pressure connection to the pump. There's a pressure connection, and then there's a low pressure connection, and that's around the back here. It's hard to see, but it's right there. And it's just got a regular hose clamp on there. So that's how you could tell. The low pressure connection is the hose clamp, and the high pressure connection is the one that you need a wrench for. And this is a 16 millimeter. So you want to carefully loosen this guy up. So here you can see this is loose now, and you just undo it. It slides around the tube. They have special wrenches for these, but very often you don't need them. But you do want to do it carefully because you don't want to twist the tube. If it's rusted on there, you might put some WD-40 or blaster, something to kill the rust. And you can see that some oil starts gurgling out. So that's the high pressure side. And then what we have here is you have a bolt here, a bolt here, and you can see a third bolt down there. There it is right here. And sometimes you have to take this cover off, this fan cover. Take the cover out, the fan out, so that you can get through the holes to the bolts, but I'm going to try it without it. See if I could do it without taking the fan out. Here's the new power steering pump, and you can see the bolt pattern here. You have 1, 2, 3, and then here's the high pressure inlet up top, and then the low pressure inlet is right there going into the tank. So this is the easy way to see the bolt pattern. 1, 2, 3. This will be the tough one. I loosened up the first bolt, and I'm working on the second one here. Sometimes, you just have a short wrench here and you don't have the leverage you need. There is a trick for that. You get a larger wrench and you just hook it in there, and that gives you more leverage when you do this. So I'm going to put the camera down and do it. So that's an old mechanic's trick where you add a wrench to it. You got to get it going in the right direction, but it does give you that extra leverage to get tougher bolts out. So now the smaller wrench can turn this bolt. An old mechanic trick. Yeah, here's the first bolt removed. Came from right here. I pulled it out through the pulley. The pulley has holes in it. So really, if you remove this fan, which I think I'm going to have to do for the bottom bolt, if you remove this fan, then you can go in from the front through the holes in the pulley. I put this top bolt in loosely, just so that it'll hold the pump while I get the third bolt out. Third bolt's loose, now I just have to keep on loosening it. So here you can see below there it is. The third bolt is loose, and it's sticking out of the hole in the pulley. So I did it without taking the fan off. I still may have to, but so far so good. Got to give yourself a chance to be lucky. So I'll take out the third bolt and then the top bolt, which is just holding it in place. And it should come loose. It is already loose. Okay, all the bolts are out, so now I could just grab onto here and it slides right off. The low pressure hose is still attached, but it's easier to get off when the pump is separate. So I use my baby channel locks to loosen this hose clamp, and now I can get this pump completely removed. I hate these kind of hose clamps that you need the pliers to take off, so whenever I take one of those off, I put one of the the screw type that you can get at the parts store. Replace this plier type clamp with the screw type clamp, because they're just a lot easier to work. Sometimes it's so tough to get pliers in there when a screwdriver is much easier, or a nut driver. These will work with screwdrivers or nut drivers. There you can see the hose clamp on there. So now what we have to do with the old one is take the pulley off. Now, there's a pulley tool you can get at Harbor Freight, and it clamps onto this lip right here, and I'll show you how that's done. What I'm going to do here is take this pulley off of the old power steering pump. Sometimes, you can buy the new power steering pump with the pulley, but it's a bit more expensive. And, this is just, the pulleys very rarely go bad, so this is a better way, or at least more inexpensive way. This is that you need a special tool because the pulleys are pressed onto the shaft. So I got this one from Harbor Freight, and it wasn't very expensive, maybe $20, I'm not sure, I don't remember. But it's very handy to have because there are a number, sometimes alternators, other parts of the car that you need to press pulleys on and off with. And I assume if you have a 96 Jeep Cherokee like I do, that, you know, it's a hobby type thing or a restoration job. So you probably need these, need some special tools as a regular thing. Anyhow, right here it gives you instructions on how to take pulleys off and how to put pulleys back on, and there are a number of different sizes of parts to use. The main part is this one here, is what's it called, the jack screw, and then this bit here, these two halves clamp onto the pulley. This sleeve holds them in place, and you draw the pulley off. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm hoping that you can see, and hopefully that'll be enough to do it. So right here is a collar. This piece here holds onto that collar. The sleeve holds the pieces in place. And this is the pulley body, they call it. And this screws here. So what you do is put the pulley body in here, like this. Put the sleeve over the whole business. And you screw this down. So I did have to go for heavy duty equipment. Half-inch wrecking bar with a half-inch socket on it, and this humongous adjustable to get on this nut. That did it. You heard that ping, and that was the pulley coming free. My little socket. Of course, since it's the old power steering pump, you're not much worried about hurting it. As long as you get the pulley off, who cares? And that's about it right there. So there it is, the pulley is off. I ended up having to use this long piece rather than the short one. And as you can see, it goes way down in there. So that was one thing I had to do a little differently. And I'll just show that again. So with this had to go. You go with the O-ring inside. That goes all the way up. And then this piece goes in there. And then these. So there it is. Using the tool, the pulley is off without it being hurt at all. And here's the old nasty power steering pump minus the pulley. Okay, and again the instructions are right here on how to put it on. And this time you use the bearing and the washer. And the washer goes on the bottom. Now the question is you have these screw installers. The question is which one. I'm going to use the middle one, and you screw that into the bottom of the jack screw. You have the pulley body here, and then of course you need the pulley in place. The washer goes here. Then this is the bearing. And then this screws down into the pulley, into the shaft. And you go all the way down with it. Now, it's very crucial that the pulley goes on the shaft even, level to the shaft. You understand what I mean? So you want to carefully ease the shaft so that it's flat. This is 1 inch, by the way. This is 1 inch. I'm going to put this monstrosity back on here. And this time you're going to go the other way. So it's best to turn it over. So you're going to be drawing that shaft back out. Now it should go on pretty easy. If it's not, then you don't have the pulley on even. As you can see, I'm just using a little ratchet here, so it should not be difficult to get that on. Of course, you want to make sure that the pulley goes on the right direction with the collar on this side. The collar you use to pull it off on this side. And you can see it's going on pretty easy. The other thing you want to do is make sure that you don't put it on too tight. You want it to go down, very close to the bottom, but not too much, just barely touching. So, just be careful and go slow. Don't rush it. The biggest mistakes are done in a hurry. And of course, the pulley should spin easily. That's important. A little bit more. It's important to go down because the pulley has to line up so that the belt is is in line with the other pulleys. Okay, so we're back at the car, and I just thought I'd show you how it looks without the power steering pump. You can see over here the new water pump, and you know, if you're taking the thing apart, you might as well do the water pump, because um, when I changed it made a big difference in the heating system and other things. And if you got a 96 Jeep, you're probably gonna need a water pump sooner or later. So while you got things apart, you might as well do it all up. The nice thing is everything's in the front, and it's not that bad of a job. When I did it, it went really well. So now we're going to put the power steering pump back in place. This is the hose to the fuel injectors. You can see the fuel injectors. The interesting thing about a 96 is you have the distributor cap. So you have the old style distributor, but with fuel injection. So it's just in between before they went to electronic ignition. Very interesting. Okay, so here you can see my new pump, power steering pump with the pulley in place. Just slides right in there, and put the top bolt in to hold it. Once one bolt is in and started, everything else lines up. So it's just a matter of wrestling these bolts in. Put them in the way you got them out. And I was able to do it without taking off the fan, so that's nice. You may want to take off the fan just to make it simpler. I guess you could say I was lazy. Yep, okay. So I'm just going to get the wrench out and put these bolts into place. I just want to show you, for this bolt down here, you have to go in kind of with your right hand and get it started. It's the most difficult bolt, but once you get it started, then you could work it on with the wrench, or get a socket through the hole, whichever you prefer. But I'm able to do it pretty well with my hand. I'm left-handed, but the right works pretty good too. So I'll get these on the rest of the way with the wrench. And I'm going to use the boxer to tighten it. And you don't have to kill these things, just get them nice and tight. The worst thing that could happen is a broken bolt, you know. So you just get it tight enough for normal strength. These upper ones were much easier. Now Sometimes the old hand tools are the best way. You still much better control. There we are. So this baby's on there good. So now I put the pressure fitting on. This guy right here. You want to be careful that it's lined up correctly. You don't want to strip these threads. And it should go in nice and easy. And you definitely don't want to over tighten this one. But it has to be tight because it is the pressure fitting. So it comes to a stop right there. And there it is. Okay. Then you just push this hose on. This piece right here. If I put a little right here. And there's the hose there. And you just sort of force it on there. Get it up there good. Past there's a little bump there. And you just tighten the clamp. These clamps are much better than those spring type. Maybe it'll be easier if I go this way. So now we put the fan belt on. The serpentine belt, also called the serpentine belt. And you just want to make sure that it's still on all the pulleys. And they're all the way on. And make sure it's on the idler pulley, that the tensioner. So everything looks good. It's loose right now. I just have to tighten it up, tighten this one, and tighten the center bolt as well. Now I'm tightening the belt. Tensioner pulley here. This bolt draws it up too tight. Still pretty loose. I can feel it getting tighter now. Again, you don't want to overdo this. You just want it firmly tight. If it's too loose, you'll hear squeaking, especially when you turn on the air conditioner. If it's too tight, you'll ruin the belt. That seems pretty good there. Just push on it. Make sure it's nice and firm. And then, don't forget to tighten this bolt down here on the pulley itself. That's important. It didn't have to be very loose to move, but I want to make sure it's tight. Of course, you better not forget to put power steering fluid in there or you'll be doing this job again. I'll have to get some more. Now this is the first time, so when I start the motor it's going to drop down and you want to fill it again. Then once that stabilizes, you actually move the wheel back and forth a number of times and keep doing that until it stops dropping. So here is the new and improved power steering pump in place. I did have to take it for a little ride just to get everything working right, but it kicked right in and the fluid level is good. You fill it up to that little shelf there and that's normal. So I'm going to drive it around and hopefully no leaks will turn out.